Being a single dad is my bread and butter. I love my son and I love the life that I've got. But there's always things that no one tells you about being a single dad. So, hello, my name is Oliver and today is episode 10 of 100 consecutive videos I'm uploading here on YouTube. Today we're going to be talking about the things that people don't tell you about being a single dad. Now, where do I start really? I think one thing that people don't tell you about is the loneliness. I love it. I love my son and I love my life, and you know, I'm very, very grateful that I get to live with my son and I get to see him every single day. But it's very lonely. It is. I love him and I love playing, like, even just looking around, there's toys everywhere that I need to clean up again, because every single day it's a play day, it's a school day. I love teaching him and I love helping him learn, and he's going to be starting school soon. So I'm very grateful to spend every single one of these moments with him now, but it's very lonely. I'm sad. I wish I could give him more. I wish that I wasn't lonely and I had more people around me, and I wish that he had friends. I wish maybe potentially he'd have a sibling. But I'm not in that situation. Sometimes I wish I had a partner. Like, I'm very content with being single. I don't think a lot of people realise that. My friends always keep saying to me, they message me, they're like, you need to get in a relationship, blah, 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 blah. But honestly, I'm perfectly content with never being with someone ever again, if that's what it is. I mean, sure, I'd love to be, and I'd love to meet someone and potentially have more children with them. But right now in my life, I'm not looking at that. Not really. Never say never, but right now, I couldn't even go on a date if I wanted to. I mean, things will change, and life will slowly change. But it's very lonely to be a single dad. Other things that people don't tell you about being a single dad is the stigmatism. I get more praise than single mums, I believe. I think being a single parent is amazing, and I see a lot of people out there who are single mums, and I don't think they get the praise that I do, and I think that's weird. People say, like, oh, you're an amazing dad, you're doing really well, and I'm sure single mums get their friends and family doing it, but when people realise that I'm a single dad, it's different. You know, I'd be at the park with my son, and someone would be like, oh, you're going home to mummy? And, you know, I don't really want to explain the situation or anything, you know, to a stranger, but, you know, when I briefly say, like, he lives with me or whatever, oh, you're doing an amazing job, it's great. It's like, thanks. I'm not looking for affirmation. If anything, I'm looking for not being considered a weekend dad, because when I went to Gulliver's World one time, I went with my son, obviously not another child, and some people pushed in front, and, you know, I'm trying to be a good dad, and I was like, look, you know, you did push in front, and the mum said in response that I can be in front when I have him on my next weekend. Sorry? The next weekend? He's with me every day. What are you on about? Why are people saying that? I remember the doctors calling me and they'd say, can we speak to his mum? And I'd be like, no, this is his dad. Like, no, we need to talk to the mum. It's like, no, you're going to talk to his dad. So I had to remove his mum's details off the doctors because no one was talking to me. That was the situation I ended up in. I mean, it makes sense because obviously he lives with me and I'm here, but, you know, I'm not trying to erase her or anything. She's still his mum and everything, but I just don't understand why the doctors wouldn't deal with me. And then there's been times where I've contacted groups, or I've turned up at a group, and, you know, the single parent groups, or, you know, the parent and child groups, they've got some down at a hall near me, and I went to one once when my son was 1 or 2. Like, this was like late 1, early 2 years old, and they're just like, no, this is a mummy and baby group. There is no father groups. So I guess that ties into loneliness, you know, the stigmatism of being a dad. Yeah, I understand we do get extra praise, I guess, from strangers, but that's as good as it gets. You know, I'm not looking for praise, I'm doing my job. I love my son, and I love being a dad, but I'm just doing my job. So yeah, it sucks, it does, but it is what it is. I feel left out sometimes. FOMO, I guess. Maybe there's people my son could have made friends with. Maybe there's some parents I could have met who we could connect with. Not on a romantical sense, I'm just saying like as friends, and the kids can be friends, and it's just never happened. And that's sad. I've got friends who have children. You know, one of my friends has 3. I know someone else who's got 4 kids, and everyone's trying their best in the world, and everyone's trying it, you know, trying to support their children. And I can't even see these friends like daily or weekly, or I don't know how often people are meant, as parents, how often are you meant to see friends? I don't know. I see them when I go visit, and that is once every few months. The longest it's been was like 16 months, because I can't afford to live near them. You know, they're doing amazing jobs. Everyone I know who's a parent is doing an amazing job, especially in this economy. Everyone's just trying. And here I am, trying to support my son. I had to move away so I could live cheaper. And the nurseries are full, can't get a space with a childminder. I was planning on moving, and I looked at areas down like the Cotswolds in Cambridgeshire and Kent and Surrey. I just can't afford it. I can't afford it. Right now I can't afford it. And I keep thinking, if I use this much of my savings, I could say move to Cambridgeshire as an example, because there's direct trains to Brighton, so it would be easy commute to see family down south. And so if I moved to Cambridgeshire, I could, you know, it's fine. I just use the bulk of my savings, first month's deposit, everything. Then I could get him into a nursery, and then I could sort out more of an income, get a job, yada yada yada, whatever you want to say. Obviously I like doing handyman work and stuff, and I want to get back into that really. And then it's, oh, what if I get there and I can't? What if there's no spaces in the nursery? What if I only get 15 hours free of childcare? Then what? You know, I need to be working to get money. Once I've got money, I can then pay childcare. You have to pay childcare first, and then I've got rent to pay. So really, if I'm working, I've still got to pay rent, I've still got to pay for childcare. It's a spiral. Which leaves me here where I'm lucky I locked this place in a couple of years ago, to be honest, because like even my neighbours downstairs, their rent is more than mine. It's more than mine. And it just keeps happening. People moving into the building and their rent's more than mine. I mean, some of the neighbours, their rent is, you know, a third less than mine, because they've been here a lot longer. That's how much rents have changed in times. I wish financially I was better off. I mean, I'm not poor, but I wish financially I was better off and I had a lot more expendable income, because I could build a house or buy a house or move somewhere, and it means that my son could have friends, or you play with my friends' kids. You know, he doesn't have any cousins. Not first cousins, he's got none. No first cousins. Probably won't for a long, long time. So all I've got is the area I'm in, and I've got to make this area work, and it's lonely. And I've got no friends. Not around here. And I couldn't get into the mummy and baby groups. I get told I'm a weekend dad at Gulliver's World, and when I go to the park, the odd person will say that, oh, I'm a great dad. It's like, that's great, but it goes no further than that. I do get hit on at the park sometimes by the single mums. That's always funny. Not interested, but you know, it's funny. I had this, like, I don't know, she was like 38 and she was with her grandchild sort of person, and yeah, she was heavily hitting on me, and that was funny. I wasn't interested, but it's just kind of funny. I don't know, I wish I had more people around. I wish, if I didn't have my son, as an example, I'd have more income, I'd have more savings, I could work. If I was in this country, because I'd probably be somewhere in another country, I'd probably own a house by now, probably somewhere further south, closer to family. So the things people don't tell you about being a single dad is, yeah, it bottlenecks your savings and your spending, and if you don't have a support network around you, it's lonely. And you get the stigmatism for trying to join groups when they're about mums. So, yeah. I do hope one day that I'm able to work a lot more rather than just in and around my son. We do a lot of side hustle stuff, and I do some work online, and I've got a couple of projects on the side, and I'm always trying to make an income. I'm always trying to work. I'm always trying to make an income. But it's so difficult. It's so difficult with a child. I don't want to have to be the dad who just sits him in front of the TV, chuck on Minecraft, let him play Minecraft. He loves Minecraft. But like, if he's playing Minecraft and then what, I'm just working the table in the back. That's not being a parent, is it? If he was at a nursery, he'd have friends and be playing all the time. So, yeah. I'm sure something will click into place soon. I'm sure there'll be a nursery and he'll make friends. I've applied for schools, and I'm sure he'll make friends when he goes to school. And maybe I might make friends with their parents. Or at least when he's at school I can work. I can work more. I can make more money. But then we're still far away from everyone. So without a support network, it's difficult. Those are the things people don't tell you about being a single dad. I mean, the mess is difficult sometimes. That's not a lie. Life is just difficult in itself. But needs must, and I love being a dad. It's the best thing ever, and I love my son, and I love waking up to his face every day. Not every day. Sometimes I'm just like, oh, just leave me alone for a bit longer. Let me sleep. And then he'll just get in my bed and fall asleep next to me, and it's fine. But I don't know. I do my best as a dad, and I love him to bits, and I just hope this can continue, and maybe one day I might meet someone and have a relationship. Maybe I might make some more friends locally. There's a lot of maybes. Only time will tell. But it's not going to happen if I don't do anything, and I'm trying. I'm always trying to prove to my son that I can be the dad, the man he can look up to. We all have someone we looked up to, and it's not always your parents. And I hope my son's is me. That's all I can do. We talk about all our dreams, our hopes and dreams, and the future and what's going to happen when this happens. We never say, oh, we hope, or if this. It's when this happens, because we're going to work on it. You know, I love that kid, and he's inspiring a lot in me, and I love him. I love him so much. I love my little dude. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really do hope you have enjoyed it. Just telling you about being a dad. There's lots I can say about being a dad, but I don't want to make these videos too long. Adios, my miss amigos. I shall see you guys all in the next video, which will be up soon. Goodbye for now. Mwah. Love you all. Subscribe, hit the bell notification, and click like on this video to help me out in the YouTube algorithm, because helping me out means I get AdSense, which means I can take my son to soft play and do awesome things. Goodbye.